Hello, everybody. Welcome to Game 2 of this Best of 5 for the After Hours Gaming League. We're here with the final week of group play, a match between Storm8 and EA. EA taking game number 1. Who do we have spawning for game number 2, Rifkin?
Well, in the top left corner of the map, it's going to be playing for Storm8. It's going to be the red Protoss player, Short Round.
His opponent spawning opposite him in the bottom right, going to be none other than EA's Synth. Another Protoss player, so it's going to be a PvP, as you said in the lobby. It's our second mirror matchup, and, well, I actually have some notes on Short Round as well. So Short Round coming up for Storm8, he's trying to bring his team back from a 1-0 deficit, and he's actually a former Warcraft 3 professional player, so he has a lot of experience playing RTS games, and he was apparently a Southeast Asian Grandmaster in Wings of Liberty. Well, that's an accomplishment, but I mean,
yeah,
I would rather see how many points he has in Master on E or NA, but that is an accomplishment. It's not like everyone gets in there.
Well, to explain a little bit of a joke behind that, guy, is on Southeast Asia, there's not enough players who actually play at that level where the Grandmaster is not even full on SEA, is what it comes down to.
I've never seen it full. When I was playing for a couple weeks on SEA, there was like 170 people in. But it's still, you still have to be pretty good to get there, and of course he is a former Warcraft 3 pro, keep that in mind, and he did come 3rd and 4th in WCGs, and he's apparently beaten Grubby before, so he's a pretty good RTS player. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, so we'll see if he can translate that over into Heart of the Swarm. He obviously has had some success in Wings of Liberty since he's been highly ranked on the ladder at least, so we'll see if that does translate. Both players are mirroring each other's build so far. What?
Hey, Pengwin, if Synth goes for a 4-gate, this might be a short round.
Oh! I mean, that would be a pretty easy build. That would be a pretty easy build to synthesize.
This match already. We've reached our limit.
The thing is, I'm actually, if that actually happens though, I'd be really worried that the red player might storm out.
Okay, the amount of gases currently on the field, 3 are the amount of puns we're allowed per match, so no more.
Okay. Okay, boss.
I like
no, there's 4 gases. There's 4 gases, bro. I can make 1 more.
Okay, but make it a good one. But I do want to point out, Synth is actually doing something kind of cool. Not a lot of players know about this, but if you hug the gas of your opponent, they can't actually build the refineries or the assimilators in this case, which is a little bit annoying. He was chased off for like a brief second, which allowed Short Round to place his gas up. But sometimes denying the second gas is such a big deal, even if it's only for 15 seconds. That's 2 extra rounds of gas where you're going to have Warp Gate ahead of your opponent. If you're both going for a 4-gate, you know, you're going to have that slight advantage, which sounds silly, but in a mirror matchup, small things like that build up to victories.
Very, very true, Rifkin. And so far, both players still, even on the build orders, are essentially the same. The only difference thus far is that Synth got his gas down a little earlier since he blocked short rounds. But we have a Robo on the way from Synth, so finally going to be seeing a little bit of deviation. And Short Round looks like he just wants to go for a 3-stalker rush build.
Yeah, I'm a little shocked. With the double gas so early for both these players, I was kind of hoping to see something along the lines of DTs or at least some heavy tech, but doesn't seem to be the case.
Not yet, at least. We have a Nexus coming out of Short Round, but we have this Robo going to be finishing up, and Synth is adding on a 2nd gateway. So if he adds on a 3rd gateway and goes for a 3-gate Robo push, this could be really, really difficult to defend.
And with that Mothership out too, or Mothership Core rather, you can always recall if the attack doesn't go your way.
Indeed.
I don't know. I don't know.
This
is I imagine this is just going to be for Immortals, but I would love to see Synth utilize Warp Prism. I think whether it's Wings of Liberty or whether it's Heart of the Swarm, Warp Prism provides so many cool potential opportunities that you're just not afforded without it.
I agree. Warp Prisms, they weren't used for a long, long time in Wings of Liberty. Only recently, in the past few months, have they really started being used a lot more. And, I mean, to great success, we've seen a lot of people. Obviously, you can fly it around. If it has speed, you can get anywhere really, really fast on the map. Drop High Templar to try to storm on mineral lines. Drop, maybe warp in some Zealots DTs. Use it even to micro your units to lift up Immortals. Stuff like that. There are so many things you can do with it.
Storm8 workers? There we go, I used the last one. Done. No more puns.
No. Not until they get more gases, anyway.
That's like our measure, like, that's our supply cap. Like, instead of building pylons to build units, we're waiting for players to build gas for cheese. Logic,
Alright, so
ladies and gents.
Indeed. We have a Stargate coming out of Short Run, though, so he's finally chosen his tech of choice. Looks like we're going to be seeing the classic ground versus sky toss battle, the part of the Swarm Classic anyway. And, well, Synth is not expanding yet, so this could still be a pretty devastating push if he goes for it. He's only on 2 gateways, though, so yeah, it looks like he's going to be placing the Nexus down now.
I really like the choice to go Stargate, by the way. Void Rays are so vicious now. I mean, really, it sounds silly, but one Void Ray can take on so many Stalkers and not even worry about it. And alternatively, you go Phoenixes, Oracles. I mean, there's so many good things that come from Protoss Air and Heart of the Swarm.
And that's true, and that's why we've been seeing so much of it. I'm really interested to see whether he adds on a second Stargate at some point. He's going to go Phoenixes, so he's not going to be going for any of the new units just yet, other than that Mothership Core.
Phoenix is not a bad choice. It's classic. You got Stalkers, you lift up your opponent's Immortals, suddenly your Stalkers are that much more powerful. A couple Phoenixes can be pretty good.
Exactly, Rifkin. Now, the thing that I'll be looking for in the next few minutes, though, is whether or not Short Round adds on a second, maybe even a third Stargate, or whether he goes into a Robo. He should be getting a Robo or a Twilight Council in the next minute or two if he plans on going ground heavy.
I'd really love for Short Round to add on more Stargates. I mean, Protoss Air, the Sky Army, it's so unstoppable for a reason. And that's why a lot of players think it's so good. I just said that completely backwards, but still.
We forgive you, Rifkin.
Well, so Phoenix just playing Scout right now. We don't see any more air production coming out of Short Round. I guess he wants to confirm that there's not a lot of anti-air on the field, which he should be able to see here coming into the base.
Yeah. He sees the number of gateways. There is a total of 5 gateways up for Synth, but the same is true for Short Round. Equal gateway count, so he's not going to be too worried about that. His own gateway's finishing up a little bit later, but we have 2 more casts on the way from Short Round, which means 2 more puns as soon as we come up with them.
Well, more importantly as well, Short Round upon scouting that Robo immediately started more Phoenix productions, and I like that. I mean, you really want to have a good amount on the field for this engage. We see he's got a nice Stalker count, but the reality is 3 Immortals are going to shred through that Stalker count. 1 volley each, dead, dead.
Especially with Time Warp used on it. I don't think Time Warp actually slows the attack speed. No, it only slows movement speed. But he won't be able to micro his Stalkers back all that well away from the Immortals.
Yeah, the thing is, with these Phoenixes, here's the beauty of it. These 2 Phoenixes will take 2 of these Immortals out of the fight completely, and all of a sudden, instead of having to worry about getting 1 shot, the Immortal, it takes 3 shots.
Oh, the Mothership Core actually being forced to waste a Time Warp and taking a little bit of damage there as well. So nice use of the Phoenixes to see, not only scout the attack coming,
the energy.
But, oh no, Short Round is supply blocked at possibly the worst possible time.
Well, I don't know about that, Pengwin. Right now, what he has, I really feel if he fights at home, he can take this fight very easily. The Immortals, there's 3 Phoenixes. 3 Phoenixes count on 3 Immortals. He's got superior Stalkers. He's got Zealots. I mean, sure, there's a couple of Sentries, but they're only going to do so much.
That's true. There we go. The Pylons also finished up, so he warps in 5 more Zealots. And you're right, he should be fine from this, provided he can get a lift in time. And it looks like Synth just wants to go home. He is getting a Robo Bay behind this, so he'll have Colossi or Speed Prisms, hopefully Speed Prisms, probably Colossi, in the picture reasonably soon.
We got so many Zealots coming in for Short Round. Now, he is adding a second Stargate. I like this choice, but if he's going to have this many Zealots on the ground, he really needs charge to make them effective.
That's true.
Oh, and the annoying thing is, I don't know if he knows that that Observer's there now, but there's nothing he can do about it. Of course, Mothership Core can no longer detect stealth, so it's kind of like, oh, well, I guess you're going to watch my army, because I can do nothing about it.
Yeah, I mean, he does not have a Robo up either. I mean, the only thing he can do for detection right now is get out an Oracle, but, I mean, not really a good investment to make an Oracle solely to take out an Observer.
No, definitely not. But Short Round, I mean, he's moving up on the field, he's getting that forward pylon down, and quite frankly, Pengwin, I think he's got a better-looking army than Synth.
Absolutely. Synth is expanding right now. His Thermal Lance is on the way. That's an expensive upgrade, and he will not have that money in units.
I mean, there's 4 Sentries for Force Fields, but this is a huge ramp. It's going to take 4 Force Fields just to keep him out of the base, not to mention the Zealots that are coming in. He's going to need to segment this off, Pengwin. Here we go.
The Zealots are not in front, though. This is a little bit of a lackluster engagement. The Zealots filing in 1 at a time in single fire. Force Fields go down. Very, very nicely done.
The Colossus, though, is doing a lot of damage to these Zealots, but without that extended Thermal Lance, the Stalkers are taking it up very quickly. Same with the Phoenixes. And now there's only the Immortals to deal with, but guess what? They're in the air. They're crowd controlled. This is like World of Warcraft. We got Polymorph going down on the mobs. And we've got Short Round just taking everything out.
Indeed. And GG is called Storm8. Tie it on up. Synth